Wuthering Waves is a great game with tons of combat and quite a few gameplay modes, but there's another endgame that you will eventually have to enter in order to completely clear all of the content. The ecosystem. Gotta slay 'em all. Trademark. The ecosystem received a lot of negative feedback from the beginning of the game, and even during the 2 closed betas, CoroGame has been taking the feedback and making some changes. Even today, however, people still hate the ecosystem. But at the end of the day, is the ecosystem really that bad? I'm Void Enigma, and I'll be explaining why Wuthering Waves actually has the best gearing system out of any open world gacha game. So the major plus to echoes is that you can get them whenever you want. Literally go out there, kill monsters, and you will naturally get echoes. In addition, you could do tacit fields to get even more echoes, and it greatly increases the odds of you getting the correct echo main stat because it's eliminating the variety of echoes that you can actually get. Considering we're about 2 months into the game, you can understand the frustration with having to actually raise so many different echoes, but this will get better in time. I believe the biggest downside to the echoes comes from when you're between databank level 15 and 21, or you have just begun the echo grind, because it feels horrendous. Now when you just start the game, you need to gear out many characters, so many characters in fact, and you need so many echoes. This can get overwhelming pretty fast because of all of the echoes that you need and the fact that you'll get these echoes at different rates. You'll need the healing bonus main stat on the correct set for each of your healers, and then you'll need a crit rate monkey, and then you'll need a crit damage motorcycle demon overlord. This can feel horrible, especially when you continuously get the wrong stat. The thing is though, once you pass this hump of the grind and reach a point where you have a ton of 1-cost echoes and a decent amount of 3-cost echoes with the correct main stat, then you're actually going to see what echoes really are. At the moment, I don't have a need for so many different echoes as they have naturally ended up in my inventory as of being Union level 55. I have a few options for each element, so when a character comes out that specializes in that element, I can begin to fully raise a full new echo set for them immediately. Getting to this point has really helped with what CoroGames has done, because to help mitigate the process in this area, they've done something that a gacha game has never done before. They give you a free selector for the main stat echo with the correct elemental damage property. But not just one, it doesn't just end there, you get multiple per update. This eliminates 2 layers of RNG, being the correct main stat and the correct set bonus, and this has helped me get many good echoes and stop grinding for certain pieces. Now, I'm aware that Ng.D has a similar system with the resin thingamajiggers, but let's be real. The substat rates are absolute dog shit in Ng.D. Like, I've played a lot of Ng.D, and I have to say that this gearing system is the absolute worst. Even worse than Genshin, or at least it feels that way. With all of the echoes that you raise, it seems impossible to get the right substat. Even at the end of the day, I barely get any relics that I'm actually completely satisfied with. I literally end up giving up and settling for what I managed to get because the upgrades are so heavily stacked against you. Wuthering Waves, however, doesn't seem to have this problem. Now, I'm pretty sure that the weight of each substat is actually weighed slightly against you, but I haven't felt that way when I'm upgrading things in Wuthering Waves. I get crit rate and crit damage quite often. Sure, there is a range of substats that you can actually get, being like a low roll and a high roll, but the point is, I'm still getting a decent spread of substats every time. Sure, sub echoes can completely flop, but I've never gone through 3 or more of the same type of echo and had them flop all 3 times in a row. There's at least something that I can use every time that I'm raising these echoes. This is not something that I can say about Genshin Impact and Ng.D, as I will get 1,000 feathers and each of those feathers will roll equally as bad. This might be my personal bias or I was just lucky, but my luck for tuning has been absolutely fantastic. I am not aiming to min-max quite yet, although I did 100% for Shanli, but I've never seen or raised more than 5 echoes and not get at least a good set of substats. That's actually impressive, considering in Genshin and Star Rail, you could play the game for a full year and not even get a set for a character, whereas in Wuthering Waves, you could play for 1 to 2 weeks and achieve the same. Like, I started farming for Chun-Li's echoes about 2 weeks ago, or maybe even a week ago even, and I've already managed to get a complete set for not only her, but also Chixia. Like, just last night, I went in and said, hey, I want to upgrade Chun-Li's echoes. Albeit, I did spend 14 crystal solvents doing so, but I managed to walk out with 3 upgrades, and this is my current build for her. That would have been 840 wave plates, which is the equivalent of 3.5 days. While I was upgrading these echoes, I noticed that you haven't liked this video yet. You also didn't upgrade the subscriber count on this channel. So go ahead and fix those 2 things before we continue with tuning and upgrading echoes. All fixed? Good. Let's get right back to the video. If you are consistently grinding for one character's equipment, you will have something serviceable within a day to a week, and something incredible within a week to a month. Wuthering Waves has been out for 2 months, and I currently have Jian, Chixia, and Xiangling completely raised with maxed out echoes, while I have Yinlin, Kalkaro, and Rover with a good amount of echoes, maybe having 2 to 3 actual echoes maxed out, and a few that I'm currently still raising. With that being said, however, that leads us into our glaring issue with this system. In a 2-month period, I was able to max out 3 characters and have 3 other characters half raised. That's where the next giant issue comes in. Echo experience. While the odds and rates of echo farming are far above any other gacha game that I've ever played, the same cannot be said for raising echoes. The amount of echo experience needed to actually max echoes is horrendous. When you need to focus on getting these materials by itself, the tacit fields come to mind, but they are pretty bad for wave plate efficiency. You get a grand total of, wait for it, 3 gold and purple resonance potions, and if you win the lottery, you get 4! This gives you like 2 levels if an echo is level 20. So to raise the echo from level 20 to 25, you'll need to run this literally 3 times. That's 180 wave plates to raise 1 echo from 20 to 25, which means you'll log into the game, raise 1 echo to 2025, and then you'll be done. On the up and up though, since 1.1, you don't have to spend so much credits to actually raise echoes. This is significant because I know that I've wasted millions of more raising artifacts in Genshin and relics in Star Rail, so you aren't punished too harshly for rolling bad. The only thing holding Wuthering Waves back from having an amazing gearing system is the resonance upgrade drought. However, considering that they fixed the fact with echo tuning materials by letting you upgrade all of your old materials into new materials, this sets a good foundation for actually what's to come. The system as a whole is great, and the substat distribution is somewhat fair, and it doesn't take too many tries to get something above average, but again, the glaring issue is that you cannot level your echoes. Another glaring issue is that you have a ton of useless echoes in your inventory and nothing to do with them. Besides, of course, throwing 5 into this random thing to get 1 random echo. The odds of getting something good here are pretty low, and I honestly rather not even do it. It's worth it when you have a whole bunch of 1-star to 4-star echoes before you're at Union level 20. But otherwise, I wish there was just a better system in place. While it's possible for you to get something good here, the odds are pretty low. I'm holding on to them to hope that they change the echo system so that you can turn your echoes that you don't use into fodder materials to level up other echoes, but we'll have to wait and see in the future. I know that you can farm these indefinitely, but if they just implement a system to throw away, say, 50 echoes a week, and in exchange you receive a ton of echo level up materials, then that would be a great system. They did add an option to trade fluorite, or, these materials here, for echo experience, but it's not nearly enough as you can only get blue and green ones. There is hope, however, as with each update you can actually get echo upgrade materials from the shops, but the downside is you'll eventually run out of these materials very early on. This is the only issue for now because later down the line, once we get all of our characters raised, this won't be much of an issue as we'll be able to stack a whole bunch of level up materials. I really hope that Kuro Games upgrades this system so that leveling echoes can be smoother and overall a more enjoyable experience when we are transitioning to endgame. I currently cannot raise many of my supports because of the fact that I have few echoes for them and I have to get them all to level 20 or 25, but the upgrade cost is just too great, so I'll have to just leave them between level 10 and 15 and maybe have the main stat at like level 20. I, however, believe in Kuro Games to make the appropriate changes in the future. Their stance on echoes is where they've been the most hesitant to cross, and I can understand why. Because if it's too easy to completely max out your character's echoes, then what will you spend your wave plates on? I believe being a little more lenient is the way to go, but even if it stays the same, I'm okay with this system. After you max out a character, farm up credits, then the only thing to spend your wave plates on is going to be the tacit field, so increasing the drops for Echo experience materials here is the best way to actually make the system better. Let me know what you all think. I am very curious to how your Echo's rolls went, and if I've just been lucky, or maybe you all have even been more lucky than me. I haven't put much effort into anyone besides Gianna and Chun-Li, and I am really satisfied with how they are now. Leave a comment to let me know how your Echo grind was. Go ahead and like this video if you found it enjoyable, and subscribe for future content just like this in the future. This has been Void Enigma, and until next time, Enigma out.